If we could, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to mute myself and work on my audio problem and hopefully fix that. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Hey, this evening we have one speaker, Dominique, and she will be talking on evaluation. I got to know Dominique through Toastmasters, and I appreciate the feedback she gives after my speeches. And I'm sure after you hear tonight what she has to offer, you too will appreciate some of the pointers that she will mention and also some information that you will share with us when we give speeches. Evaluation is very important because it helps you to do better on your next speech. Dominic has been a Toastmaster for some time, and I'm sure that she has held several offices. So she is well known and she is very good on evaluating. So our new guest or our guest, pay close attention to what she has to say this evening. Help me in welcoming Dominique on evaluation. Evaluation.
Thank you, Barbara, for that warm introduction that I didn't write for once, which is fantastic. I appreciate that. It's nice not to have to write my own all the time. I'd like to know from a show of hands or just unmute yourself, why, if you came to this evening to hear about evaluations, is there a specific burning question or purpose that you would like to get out of this when you leave? I'll start with you, Juan, because I know that you are very supportive of me and you came to watch. Is there anything specific you'd like to get out of this tonight?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Yuan Hawks, and I'm a guest here. I'm very excited to come and hear and learn from Dominique, the district champion on evaluation. I've been a Toastmaster for almost 10 years, but that's still an area that I feel that I am not adequate and I wanted to improve. So I was hoping to learn some new skills and I can try it at my Toastmasters Club.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Would anyone else like to share a goal?
Yeah, I have something to say. I've been a Toastmaster for 3 months, and there is one person in our group who's a speaker, and he's amazing. He's been doing it already for 2 years. And one time I had to evaluate him. So I'm curious to hear when somebody's great and everything sounds good, and the speech is organized. He knows how to use his hand gestures. He knows how to watch people in the eyes. What do you tell someone at the end of a speech? Because it was very hard for me to tell him what he should work on or what can he get better at. It's just everything was just great and very informative, and it was hard to give him feedback.
That's a wonderful one. Is it Georgetta?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful name. Wonderful question. I get that one a lot. How do we evaluate advanced Toastmasters who are much better than we are? What do we look for? I have a perfect answer for you. You're going to like it a lot, and I am making note of that. You will leave here empowered, and you're going to look forward to evaluate. You're going to volunteer to evaluate him next time because you're going to be armed and dangerous.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone else who has? Yes, Marilyn.
It's just when you're evaluating a single person or a group of people, a single person, is there a way of making sure that the rest of the audience also gets that same feedback?
Another fantastic question that there absolutely is. It takes a little practice, but I'm going to mention addressing the entire audience. And that has to do with pronouns. So thank you for reminding me, because I have a pet peeve about pronouns. So we're going to talk about that. It's not as sticky English deep dive as it sounds like. It's just simply, if I were to give Ed an evaluation, I would say, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Ed. Ed, wow, what a great speech. You came out on all 8 cylinders, and I was blown away by your opening statement. So I'm talking to Ed because I'm using the word you, but sometimes during evaluations, I've heard people start with the you, then they turn over here, and as if Ed just evaporated like smoke, they say, and then he didn't leave the room. He's still right there. What are you talking about him like he's not in the room for? That's very rude. Don't mix your yous and he's. Either I prefer you stick with you, and even when you're looking over here, you glance over here and say, and you smiled a lot, which, and then you look over here, you're like Ed is over here, and you're saying, Ed, you smiled a lot, and then you come over here and tell these people, which brightened up your face and made you look 10 years younger. See, now you're giving the advice to these people for what he did over here. So you're just kind of acknowledging what he did, but you're telling these guys. So even if you say, and another thing you did, and he's not even over here, but you're pretending he's over here, so what? No, nobody's going to go, she said you when he was clearly over there. She must be stupid. No one, people will forget about where the speaker is sitting. They're just going to be listening to what you have to say and trying to absorb the advice either for themselves or to see if they agree or disagree with what you said. So giving the advice to everyone and you sticking with you. Please don't go to he or she or them, because it's when they're still in the room, it's really nice for them to know that you are not acting like they have become invisible. So that's the first big thing I'm going to get out there is pronouns. Is there anyone else, either in the club or visiting, who has a burning need that they would like addressed tonight? Yes, Ed.
Just like Georgetta said, evaluating advanced, maybe even professional speakers is what I would like to hone my skill at for evaluating. So
Okay.
I'd like to hear something on that.
Okay, great. That's good. I'm going to, if there's anybody who cannot receive files in the Zoom chat, I will ask my handsome and talented husband, Brian, to email this document to you at the end of the evening so that you can benefit from what I'm about to share with you. Sabrina, did you have something?
Yes, I do. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So I'm collecting information for our chapter. So we're still balancing out the general evaluator and then the other evaluators. So we kind of have a general idea, the general evaluators overall and the roles that people play, it sounds like. And then there's other evaluators per speech. So I just kind of want to see that played out to bring back some tips and pointers to our charter. We have a meeting actually tomorrow. So this is learning, and then we'll practice in action tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, that's wonderful. And if you would like me to come and deliver a shorter version of this speech to your club, if there's an online version of it, I would be delighted to do that at mutual, just tell me when it is and I'll show up. I'm happy to do that.
Thank you so much.
We will go over the GE's role and the evaluator's role. There are basically two about, yes, I will get to you, Randy, one moment. Sabrina, there are speech evaluators, and then there's the meeting evaluation. And those are the two types of evaluation And occasionally, rarely with an advanced speech, you'll get something called a round robin evaluation, which is where everybody gets a minute or two. If somebody, for example, Yuan was our district champion, and she was having people 2 to 3 minutes each all the way around, taking 20 minutes or so, saying what they loved, what they thought she could improve about her speech, because it was such a critical, important move for her. That's rare. That almost never happens. So only worry about the 2 types of evaluation, which I will go through. Randy, what did you have?
That document you said you were going to put in chat, what is this document?
Yes.
Is this your PowerPoint? What is it?
It's going to be a PDF, and I am going to dump it in there right now. Let's see here, chat.
It's on everything that you're talking about tonight, yeah?
It is not. It is, however, really cool, and I'm going to drop it in there now. It is mostly ammunition for people who are looking for ways to evaluate advanced speakers. This is a document I created by myself over the years. When you open it up, you'll see a very colorful spreadsheet looking thing that gives every topic you could imagine, both good and needs improvement. For a really advanced speaker, one of the things you can look for that people often forget is the title. Did the title make sense? So I'll ask you, Georgetta, do you remember the title of that speech that the gentleman gave?
Oof, I do not remember right now, but I think it made sense. He had the speech was about the 3 most important things that you have to do when you deliver a speech, and the title was very exactly what he was going to talk about.
So if it was exactly what it was, you might suggest to him, your title was exactly what you said you were going to say, but it didn't make me curious at all. You laid your cards on the table, and I would prefer a title that gave me a little curiosity. Like, don't give a speech until you listen to this. So sometimes you can offer a missed opportunity to a speaker.
Yeah.
And it's best if you can give them an example, but you can always say the speech title was okay, but I would like something that makes me curious immediately when I hear it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't give it all away. So you can pick on the title for an advanced speaker. Also, how was his appearance? Did he look good?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
How was his appearance? Was he dressed well?
I would say more like jeans and casual.
No. Anybody giving a speech who's an advanced speaker should be well dressed and perfectly groomed, or here's what you say very nicely. Your speech was amazing, all the good stuff. If you were to deliver this speech again, I would suggest that you wear slacks and a long sleeve shirt tucked in with a belt, because that kind of dress will be in alignment with the advice you gave, and it will elevate you as a speaker. It will match the gravitas of your words, and you will be taken more seriously.
Okay.
Now that was a lot. Obviously, you put it in your own words, but sometimes people show up in a jeans and a t-shirt, and they expect people to take them at their word. But why should I? You look like I don't want to say a bum. You look like you just came back from your college class or your picnic or your beach vacation. You know, put on I'm nice. I'm dressed nicely, and I'm on Zoom, so I put on a nice shirt and a matching blouse. And I can't help what my hair is doing today. I apologize for that. That's just can't be helped. But clothing And also, one more thing, let's say they are dressed nicely. Let's say there is a nice suit and a jacket button on the one button in the middle, I believe it is. My husband will nod at me if that's correct. And everything looks great, and the shoes are shined, and the haircut is good, and there's nothing glaring or distracting. But the speaker has his cell phone in his pocket, and in one pocket, and his wallet in his other pocket. And there are two great big ugly distracting bulges on either side of his pants that are just ruining the line of his clothes. So you say, the next time you speak, please empty the contents of your pockets so that the nice, beautiful line of your pressed suit can be enjoyed by the rest of us. So even the littlest thing like that, that has nothing to do with anything he said, it's what you're seeing. You must nitpick with an advanced speaker because there's so little else you can say. The gestures are there, the body language is there, the eye contact is there, the organization is there. The things that we usually tell less advanced speakers cannot be grabbed as low-hanging fruit. So we have to look higher. Now, if everybody saw my attachment, or most people did, this is a little light reading for, in case you ever run out of Ambien and you're trying to get to sleep, you can read through this and see that every single area, there are multiple suggestions for improvement and compliments. There are, I hope, a mix of both. Good intro, missing intro. So you can go through this and see what you may notice in the future. I'm glad I got this out of the way so I can keep going. How's my time, Jim? 12 minutes left?
You're at 15 and a half.
I'm at 15. Perfect. Right smack in the middle. Perfect. Okay, good. So that takes care of advanced evaluations. Does anyone have any questions about advanced evaluations before I move on to another topic? Speak now or forever hold.
Well,
Okay.
well,
Yes, Randy.
I have to point out, when I do get an advanced speaker in front of me, I'll take him to the side and compliment on the tone of the speech, where there's emotion, where his words match the emotion at that moment, whatever that emotion is. And I acknowledge them on those little areas where they're projecting the feel of that part of the message that they're putting out. So something that I work on, it's the tone, their emotion.
Now, why would you take them aside to say that
Well,
rather
I
than
mean,
public
well,
evaluation?
I will if I'm doing a evaluation, but I'm in a situation where most of the people are they're beginners.
Oh, okay.
Way over the head. They'd be way over their head.
Okay, understood.
That
Especially
makes
if you're doing this at the prisons and you don't want to say that out loud.
It's outgrading to a lot of the beginners who go, oh, geez, I can't ever do that. I don't want to, right, go over there.
Got it. Yes. So Randy gives an illustration of sensitivity
Yeah.
for know your audience and know your speaker. If you are speaking to a lot of, if you're speaking to kids, a young group, or a gavel club, or a
you need to know how to talk to them.
Speechcraft club where they're really not Toastmasters and they don't get it. Yeah. It's very important that you keep your evaluation
simple
but
effective.
but meaningful.
Ah.
I'm going to use the word of the day and underline it and italicize it. Brian, did you have a question?
What I had was an opportunity recently to evaluate an advanced Toastmaster, and we spoke before the meeting and she said, here are the things I want you to look for, which I really appreciated. So from that, I would say if you're going to be evaluating an advanced speaker and you know how good this person is at delivering a speech, just ask them prior to the meeting, what would you like me to watch for? What things are you trying to accomplish? You know, is it better eye contact? Is it more body language? What are the things you're trying to achieve so I can be looking out for those for you if they don't offer that already? But in this case, the Toastmaster came to me and said, I want to make sure you look for this and this and this. And that was great because that helped me do better at my evaluation. But you can always turn the tables and just step up and say, all right, I know you're a great speaker. What do you want me to watch for? What are you trying to accomplish and what should I be looking for? So when I give my evaluation, I can be giving you pointers on the things that you really want to hear me evaluate.
Excellent. That's a great point. And one more thing, if you are evaluating an advanced speaker and they have asked you, please avoid the fluff and just do a reverse sandwich approach, which would be 2 pieces of meat with a piece of bread in between, which means that you're going to give them 80% suggestions with 20% niceties. And that's so that because they are much more interested in hearing everything you saw, not just 1 or 2 suggestions for improvement, which is typical. If you do that, make sure before the timer starts, say, before you start timing me, I would like to let the club know that the speaker has asked me for an advanced evaluation, which is a bit of an inverted pyramid. It will sound like I am giving them a lot to work on. This is at their request. And I want you to know that not all evaluations go this way. This is at their request. So that in case you have a new Toastmaster or God forbid a guest, they don't think that all evaluations start out with first 5 things you can improve, then 1 or 2 nice things you did well, and then 4 more things you could improve, or they're going to feel completely overwhelmed. So, how much do I have a green light, Jim? Is that green? Okay, thank you. I'm going to give you the anatomy of the intro and some of the segues when you're giving an evaluation. This is something I have fine-tuned over the years. Use it or modify it. Here's the first one. This is how I start out every evaluation. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially, and the name of the person. I put that in the chat. And I like to start out with a wow moment. Wow, Shanna, I've heard you speak a number of times, but this time blew me out of the water. I can't believe you were an international spy, and you've only just chosen to tell us that tonight. So whatever it happens to be, whatever the wow moment is, start out with the wow. Another thing I do is I think I'll let Brian hold that piece of paper up. I make a letter T on a blank piece of paper, and as I'm writing on the right, I write things that I like, usually in just 1 word. I'll just write vocal, which means the voice was up and down and right where it should have been. I'll write gestures, meaning the gestures were outstanding. I just write the pluses, but a single word. And then on the left, where things could be improved, I'll write eye contact because there wasn't any, or there was not enough, or I'll put eye contact and then maybe a left arrow, meaning it was all on the left side of the audience. So when I'm going through the evaluation, I'll say something like, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Brian. Brian, the way you held up that piece of paper just now was fantastic. It reminded me to share one of my favorite tricks, which is the big letter T on the blank piece of paper. Somebody forgot to give you their evaluation? No problem. You just make your own. Big letter T, the good things on the right, the things to improve on the left. Now, don't forget, you can write more than one or two things and then share those things with the person afterwards. Thank you so much for that. If you were to deliver this message to me again, I would suggest that you raise your hand so that it gets my attention right away and I don't waste time ignoring you. I didn't ignore you on purpose, but it wasn't until you started flipping your paper around madly that I actually you caught my attention. Overall, this was a wonderful delivery of a message, and I can't wait to see you deliver a message again in the future. And that's pretty much the anatomy of an evaluation. So the second little tidbit is if you, whoopsie, gotta get down here. So if you were to deliver this speech again, comma, I'd like to see ... and then say whatever you want. I'd like to see you smile more. I'd like to see you in a more professional outfit. I'd like to see, yeah, there's only so much I can do. I'd like to see, because when you use these prefab items, it sounds really smooth. It sounds very professional. And Jim, give me a count of how many minutes I have left, please.
You just hit 25.
Thank you. 5 minutes. Okay, great. Finally, at the end, you're going to want to say, overall, you were, and then you list like X, comma, Y, comma, and Z, and with just a little more work on eye contact or whatever, you will have. And now let's say it's contest season and they are working on a speech for a contest. This is what you could say at the very end. And I always like to end with this. I look forward to hearing you speak again with enthusiasm. Don't say it if you don't mean it. So here's the last part. All right. Overall, your articulation was wonderful. Your organization was spot on, and your movement was purposeful and professional. With just a little more work on eye contact, you will have an award-winning speech on your hands. I can't wait to hear you speak again, Mr. General Evaluator. And you just stick your hand out or just say, don't say thank you, don't stammer around, just end nice and firmly and say either General Evaluator or Toastmaster, however you may do it, and you're done and you're out. I'm trying to finish before 3 minutes and 15 seconds for an evaluation contest. Now, there are a couple of more things I could show you, but there's a really cool kind of magic secret weapon that makes evaluation really cool. I don't really have time to dig deep into it, but I will tell you one big neat secret is, let's say there are two speakers and you're not an evaluator, evaluate anyway. Take a piece of paper, make the T, and evaluate, but just don't say it out loud to them. Just practice evaluating yourself. And then be proud of yourself and say, I'm so proud of myself that I noticed this thing that the advanced speaker could do better. And if you're the type of club that has, oh, now we have 1 minute to give a love note to the speaker, guess what? You've got tons of info. In fact, you could start typing it in the chat or writing on a slip of paper well in advance because you've been evaluating the whole time they were speaking. So never miss an opportunity to evaluate, because if you're grammarian, you might pick up on some words. If you're counter, you might pick up on some ums. The timer is probably the only time not to do it because you might get carried away. That's my last piece of advice. And for more secret tips and tricks, feel free to come in person on October 20. When is it? When's our thing? Anyway, I think it's
October 26th.
October 26th in Paris, California at the library. We're meeting in person and we're having a 3-hour intensive, make a day of it. We're going to have food and we're going out afterwards to have a serious happy hour. So please consider making a day of it.
Sun City, Menifee.
Sun City, Menifee. It's in the Tuesday with the Trio, formerly named newsletter tomorrow. You will see details about it, and or you can contact me or Brian for details. Last question, Randy.
Is that on evaluation, that's this 3-hour day or just various topics?
Oh no, it's all only evaluations. That's all it is. It's just a powerhouse of every secret. I left out 2 secrets tonight that, are not really, if you email me, I'll tell you what they are, but I just don't want to go over time out of respect. So I'm going to say, Madam Toastmaster Barbara, back to you.
Thank you. Lots of information there for you to use when you're evaluating. Now, I have some special tools that I can utilize when I'm evaluating a speech. And thanks for that information about if you are not the evaluator for that particular evening or speech, you can still evaluate so you get more practice at doing it. So that's one takeaway for me. Moving right along, we'll have the timers report.
Thank you. The time for the evaluation workshop was 30 minutes and 30 seconds. Very good. I'm impressed.
At this time, we will be having our table topics. Is William here tonight?
Yes, he is.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes.
Sandra has to leave. Oh, you don't have to leave. Never mind. You're muted, Sandra.
It's all right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. William will be giving us some thought-provoking questions for you to think deeply, organize your thoughts, and deliver a speech, a short speech. Go ahead, William.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Moving along with our theme for the evening, opportunities. That grand opportunity has knocked on our door of each of us through life. Tell us any of the loudest knocks that you have received in life of grand opportunities. Would you do that for us, Samuel?
Yes, the opportunities that have knocked at my door. I was very fortunate to have a grandmother who she was always a real estate agent. She gave me an opportunity to work on her website as real estate, and that helped give me a lot of an opportunity to brainstorm on how to design a website, on what information to put. I made flyers for her as well as a real estate agent. So this is more about the opportunity that her being in real estate gave me to improve my design skills. I had to look at flyers, see what templates I liked, try to figure out what bullet points to put on for these properties. And just by having this work, it just, I was a high school student at the time. It was the first time I ever done this before. It was just pure schoolwork. And now is the opportunity to actually to help in the professional world. And these design skills eventually helped me later on when I was in college, where I studied computer science. I could, when I would make programs, I'd think, how would the person using it, what would they want to see? And now that I have in a programming job, I design apps, and I try to think what kind of design would be useful for the other person to see, what information to show them, how it would be easy for them to use it. When I was creating all this stuff for my grandmother, of course, it's more like selling them the house. And now I'm trying to design programs that are easy to use, that'll sell the user into using them. So that's my grand opportunity. Mr. Table Topics Master, back to you.
Thank you, Samuel. Planning is a key element throughout our life, personal and business as well. And when it comes to opportunities, could you give an example of how planning has definitely played a part in the opportunity that you had received? Georgetta?
Thank you. I think I was really good with planning when I was 19 years old. I received the opportunity to come to the US, and I had to apply for a visa for that. And there was probably 8 steps that I had to take. I had to go through different job opportunities and choose a job, and then go through a Skype interview, and then buy an airplane ticket, and then plan where will I be leaving, and then when will I return. So it was a lot of actions I had to take to make sure everything goes well, because I was in a very small town, never left the country before, never left my parents' home before. So it was very scary for my family as well. I tried my best to pretend like I'm not nervous and just tell them that everything is okay. I didn't speak good English at that time either. I knew a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I basically had to translate everything in my head before saying something. So I had to plan a lot of little things. And I think I did really good. And I will be grateful forever for that opportunity, because it changed my life completely. I've been in the US for almost 11 years now. So yeah, definitely planning is important with every opportunity we get.
Thank you, Georgetta. Meaningful random acts of kindness are important in my world, which I try to practice every day. Could you give an example of this meaningful act of kindness that you might perform, Sabrina?
Yes, I can. I knew I was going to be called on. It's all good. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. We'll make this meaningful and purposeful. Okay, so the question was on meaningful random acts of kindness. I try to find little moments in time each day where I can connect with others. I work as a counselor at a medical school. And even before I start my day, walking out my door, if there's someone I see, I say hi, hello to them, give them a smile, wave. When I drive up to the school, I park, I wave to people in the parking lot. Or if someone drops something, you just pick it up and hand it to them or hold the door open for them. I think these little random acts of kindness, they kind of go out and it someone else, it's a domino effect and it picks up from one person to the next person. And I find other people that may be strangers or not as close to me as they could be become more friendly. We create a small bond, and those little small bonds over time can develop into a friendship. And even if they don't, it's still okay because those random acts of kindness are carried on to the next person. And it just makes my day feel a little bit more complete, and I'm being more purposeful in my actions and contributing to a better day for everyone.
Thank you, Sabrina. That was excellent. You know, sometimes opportunities are blown, you know, we miss them. Uh, I'm a sports fan, the football player, he drops the touchdown catch that would really win the ball game. The baseball player, this definitely would end the ball game with a win, but he drops the ball and on comes the score. It may be difficult, but share with us a blown opportunity, please. Shanna.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Excellent question. Blown opportunities. Now, this is tricky because one philosophy I have is if there's a mistake, if there's a missed opportunity, it's not a mistake or missed opportunity if we learn from it and grow from it. So I think anytime we might have made a mistake or thought we could have done something differently, we learn from it and therefore we gain from it. And it wasn't an error after all. It was a win because we grew. And I will say that there are definitely times when I have made choices and I think back to those choices and wondered, I wonder if I would have done something differently. And I'll give you one example. When I was about 5 years into my career as an editor, I was progressing very quickly. I was advanced and given promotions. And I came to a point where we were going to move to Pennsylvania. We were living in New York City. And my current job didn't usually allow people to work remotely at the time. But they said, in your case, we will let you work remotely and you can continue to work in your role full time. We would love to keep you. And I said, no, thank you. And I always think about that. But the reason why is because I'd had miscarriages and I was pregnant. And I thought, if I do this, I'm going to be stressed and I don't want to risk losing another child. And to me, that was more important. And so now I have a rainbow baby who just turned 12. And my career may have taken a little detour, but I ended up with something else that was just as magical and wonderful. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you. These answers are so wonderful and I'm enjoying this. I can go on, so you're going to have to stop me, Madam Table Topics. You know, I've made snap decisions in my life, and I have found that some of them were some good opportunities. Tell us any snap decision that you would consider a good opportunity? Lorna?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I became a teacher. I've always wanted to become a teacher, so I taught third and first grade for 10 years in the public school system in Nevada and Arizona. And after teaching for 10 years, I knew I had to get out to save myself. A lot of women tend to become nurses and teachers and caretakers, and they tend to give and give and give and work these 16, 18-hour days. There's no time for themselves. So I found a job opening for a tobacco specialist. I know nothing about tobacco. So I applied, and I so badly wanted out of education that I pulled out all the stops. When they said, "Where do you want to be in 5 years?" I want to be right here with you, helping people to stop smoking, vaping, and chewing tobacco. So I got the job, and just recently I had such a wonderful, meaningful class. I took a class on being a tobacco treatment specialist. I recently, last week, took the tobacco-free advanced techniques training, and it's just fascinating. I've been studying motivational interviewing, and I was thinking about Sabrina, the counselor, is probably well versed in this, and this would have very much helped me as a teacher, especially with the parents, to find out what motivates them. So I love what I do. I needed to get out of public education, and I love listening to people's quit stories. And I sign people up with our state ASH line to quit. And I go to health fairs. I teach doctors about ASH line and how to sign their patients up. So what I'm doing is so incredibly wonderful and meaningful. And I'm soon to start a live group, hopefully at the hospital where we meet for our speaking group with Ed. So don't quite remember your question, but it was something, yes, something I did. I went out on faith and I got a position that I love. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. As I said, I'm enjoying this. Stop me, Madam Toastmaster, but I've got another.
Okay, we have time.
Okay. Acknowledge the opportunities that you have received from Toastmasters. Brian.
Thank you, William. I would call you Table Topics Master, but I'm just going to call you William. Thank you, William, for that question. I'm sure you knew who you could call on, and here I am. I joined Toastmasters because I saw a young lady deliver a speech at a Chamber of Commerce event, and she did such a wonderful job of just being herself and wowing the audience. She had them laughing, and she really wasn't so much promoting her business as she was just saying, "Isn't it fun to be here with me?" And I remember thinking, I want to do that. And I thought, all right, I'm going to wait. And after her speech, I waited. She had like a receiving line of people who wanted to talk to her. I had to wait my turn, but I was last, and I made sure I was last so I would have time with her to say, okay, how do I become, first of all, that was wonderful. It was fun watching you deliver your speech, and you had the audience in the palm of your hand. That was really cool. And how do I learn to present as well as you do? And she said, you have to join Toastmasters. That woman has been my best friend for over a decade, and she is now my wife, and she now presents on how to be wonderful at evaluations, the award-winning DTM, love of my life, Dominique Fruchtman. So that's what Toastmasters has given me. I don't know how many people are going to have that story to tell, but I hope you all get something out of Toastmasters. And this is the most meaningful answer to table topics I may have ever delivered. Thank you for the question, Mr. Table Topics Master. Back to you.
Thank you very much, all, for your participation in table topics. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Very good topics to discuss this evening. Are we going to vote for our best table topics while we listen to the timers report? But let's have the timers report first, see who qualifies, and then we can vote for the best table topics for this evening.
Madam Toastmaster, everyone qualifies this evening. I will give a quick rundown of the timing. Samuel, you're at 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Georgetta at 1 minute and 28 seconds. Sabrina, 1 minute and 25 seconds. Shanna, 1 minute and 58 seconds. Luana, 2 minutes and 30 seconds exact. And Brian, 1 minute and 42 seconds. Congratulations, everyone, on doing a succinct and perfectly timed table topics. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Great. So we can vote. You can put your vote in the chat. Which one of those short speeches really spoke to you? And you can apply what Dominique taught us just a while ago. Did you see some of those things in those short speeches? Put it in the chat and send it to William.
Thank you.
And while you're doing that, we'll multitask right now. We'll have Shauna, our evaluator, call on her team to tell us how we're moving right along.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. I have the honor of being general evaluator. So as general evaluator, this was a question that came up earlier. What's the difference between GE and a speech evaluator? So general evaluator will assess the whole meeting from start to finish and give feedback on anything about the meeting, the course of the meeting, the planning of the meeting, the facilitation of the meeting. So I'll be doing that a little bit later. A speech evaluator will speak directly to the speaker on how they did. And as intimidating as it may be, I will be evaluating Dom tonight. Sandy was the assigned evaluator, but she had to leave early. So I am stepping into her place. And one thing I will ask, though, is I don't know if 2 to 3 minutes will be enough for that, for that 30-minute wonderful workshop, but I will do my best. So timer, I will begin my speech evaluation. Fellow Toastmasters honored guests, and especially Dom, our lovely speaker this evening, you are always full of meaningful information and a delight to listen to. And tonight was absolutely not an exception to that. You were wonderful as always, and we love learning from you and having you in our club, especially for your evaluation skills. That's in fact, for those who are guests, that is in fact how we got Dominique to join our club. We asked her to be a guest evaluator because of her wonderful evaluation skills, and she decided to stay, thankfully and luckily for us. So excellent workshop topic. Definitely, I was excited to be here to listen to it, to hear what you had to say. And we have a wonderful group of guests who participated in this evaluation. Because we have our advanced speaker with us tonight, she did say that she was open to a reverse sandwich evaluation. So I will give her a little bit more feedback on improvements, which is, again, an intimidating and challenging thing to do for somebody who gave us a topic on this exact thing that I'm demonstrating here. But we'll see if I can apply what I've learned. I will say that just to speak about the Zoom element, so we are in a unique platform here. She is centered and focused. We could see her face, so she's positioned really well as a speaker in Zoom. So if you're ever doing online presentations, that's something to consider. She is dressed nicely. Her hair is beautiful and lovely. And I did switch to her. I apologize. I know you said to stick with your pronouns. But I will say another thing that you can consider is for your background is whether you would like to have a frame like the Toastmasters background. I'd also consider lighting and make sure that your face is well illuminated and spotlighted. So consider that if you're planning to present again in the future in the online space. I will say that what I really appreciated is your audience engagement. So essentially you demonstrated your command of the topic by doing something that can be challenging, which is facilitating an off-the-cuff back and forth Q&A with the audience. And that's hard to plan, and it's hard to time, and it's hard to also think on your feet and be able to respond, but you do it masterfully. And I appreciated that you started immediately by connecting with the audience. You asked, what are your goals? What do you hope to get out of this evaluation workshop? You demonstrated great listening by restating and affirming those goals. And one thing that was very valuable as a participant is you offered concrete examples. What do I say specifically, particularly with one of the challenges that was mentioned, which is if there's an advanced speaker, what do I say when I can't potentially find something to offer to say, right? They did everything excellent. How do I respond to that? So you offered really concrete examples. You had a PDF that you shared in chat with additional examples that people can take away and use. So all of that was really wonderful. And I also love how you incorporate your humor. You always bring your delightful personality to everything that you present and the way that you speak. I will say that if you are doing a Q&A format in the future, that you might consider still front loading with an introduction and an explanation of what that format is. So for example, since now you've collected some idea of what goals people have for your workshop, that could be used to start an interesting introduction. You could say, have you ever been assigned to give an evaluation to an advanced speaker and thought, oh, what am I going to say? This was an excellent speech. How can I give them feedback? So something like that to just speak already to the goals that people might already have in their mind. That'll draw people in another way. And then maybe laying out specifically, I'm going to spend the first 15 minutes taking your questions and facilitating a discussion. Then I'm going to share a resource that'll give you step by step. So just kind of laying out a guideline of how you think you want to split up your time. And if you have those milestone time markers, if you're saying in 15 minutes, I'm going to do this, that's something you might cue your timer in advance. Hey, at 15 minutes, can you come off mute and just say it's 15 minutes? And that way, if you want more frequent time markers, you can work that out with your timer to help you keep on track and continue with your goals. I would say as an advanced speaker, you offer a master class in how to use your hand gestures, your appropriate vocal variety, especially in the Zoom space. It's kind of hard to get your hands up here without looking crazy, but you did that very well. I think you also had an opportunity where you offered some typed examples in chat. That was really great. I think everybody probably really appreciated that and enjoyed it. I would say one suggestion as an advanced presenter is have those pre-typed out for easy copying and pasting, or for something more polished, since you know that this is what people are wanting, create another page to your PDF handout with that information there, and then say it's in your handout, you can reference it later, and maybe you still copy and paste it just for emphasis, but something to have in mind. I think fantastic information, a lot to take in, and for your audience, What might be helpful is at the end, even though it's a Q&A interactive presentation, is to conclude with your top 3 tips. Next time you're giving an evaluation, remember this, this, this. Or because you're so interactive, you could say, so next time you give an evaluation, what are you going to do? Tell me one thing, and have a couple volunteers share one thing they're going to take away to make sure that they do at their next evaluation. So awesome presentation. Excellent. Loved it. Can't wait to see you speak again. And I hope maybe in the future we can host another workshop just like this. Thank you so much. Back to you, our general evaluator, which is me.
Yourself. If you'll give me the opportunity, I'll evaluate the evaluator when the general evaluator gets to that part.
Sure. And I ended with thank you, which I know you oppose. So.
Oh, you're so forgiven. Instant forgiveness.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I will turn it over to our team. I know I went over time, but it's hard to keep to 2 to 3 minutes with that amount of information that we received. I will turn it over to our team. Our first up will be the timers report. Jim, can you share the times?
6 minutes and 54 seconds for your evaluation. Pretty good. All very useful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's fine. I will abdicate the best evaluator award just to make sure I get all my feedback in. All right, grammarian report will be Ed Baumgartner. Ed, can you share our grammarian report for this evening?
I certainly will. The word of the day. I was pretty impressed. Dom used the word, Shanna used the word, William used the word, Brian used the word, Lawana used the word more than once. And that's my report on that. A word I'm going to use for word the meeting one of these days soon is gravitas. When that popped out, I thought, wow, that would be a good word for the meeting. So I copied that down and circled it. So I plan on using that soon. We all did very well. I won't give an on report because usually that's one of my favorite things. I'll let Brian do that. But overall, I thought everybody did very well. Excellent. So that's my report. Short and sweet. Back to you, Shannon.
Thank you, Ed. I'm also known to be short and sweet, so I appreciate that. We look forward to using gravitas at our future meetings. Our next report will be from our awe counter, Brian. Brian Rowley, please share your report.
Shanna banana, you know it's Rolly, right? All right, I have this report. Ed, I wrote down double clutch. You must have just started right off with a double clutch. Dom, amazingly, double clutch race. And twice, like once, 6 times, Still love you, baby. Samuel, okay, this is the, what do they call it?
Yeah.
There's a rule for this. More than 10 times you used, You also like and you like using the word and. So what I would say is when you come to the end of the sentence, think about that as being a complete thought and take a breath and pause and start your next sentence. And you will eliminate those ands because it's very easy to just keep the stream of consciousness going. Georgetta. And then, three of those. And so, and one of my favorites, so yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sabrina, you had 3 one and a lot of ands. Again, the sentence, it's easier, it's better as practice to end a sentence and then begin a new sentence. But if and is in the middle of all your sentences, that's where the ands become less than meaningful, let's say. William, you know, William, 3 times on and a couple of but otherwise vastly improved. Shanna, you're so perfect. It's just hard to take sometimes. I have nothing for you. Luana, 3 ums and 2 so's. And that is the end of my report, and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
I caught my own fillers, so I guess I was sneaky. I did have some. Yes, I got away with it. Okay, so next will be my general evaluation, and I will yield at some point to our evaluation master who will give feedback on my own evaluation. But before that, I will just say generally that we do a great job of having the agenda ahead of time. So thanks to our VPE for getting that out to us. And we always tend to have some adjustments because life happens and that's what we need to do. Luckily, our group is very good at being flexible and working with those adjustments and accommodating them rather quickly. So we don't usually lose any time trying to make those changes. I will say the table topics were excellent. Really wonderful prompts. Thank you, William. Great questions. William, also, you demonstrated very well how to listen. Something that we sometimes forget about in Toastmasters is not only are we practicing on our speaking skills, but we're also working to develop our listening skills. And I thought that you did a really good job of listening and responding to people's actual answers. I also like, and this is a small thing, but an important thing, after people speak, you would say thank you and say their name again, which I think is very valuable, especially when they're a guest, to acknowledge them by name. So I really liked that touch. The first topic went to a guest. This worked in this case because everybody, for the most part, is familiar with Toastmasters and is here. I would say that consider starting out with at least one member first, just to make sure that if there's anyone who's unsure of it, they have an example of what to expect and how to respond. And checking in with guests just to make sure they're okay participating. But all of our guests were delightful in participating and did a wonderful job offering a table topic response. I would say many also in our Zoom format, many of you changed your Zoom name to include your meeting role. A lot of us did, which was nice. I thought it was a nice touch, and that's something to keep in mind for future. And the AW counter, always love a thorough AW counter. I really appreciate too when we have AW counters, as like you did demonstrated tonight, Brian, to offer insights into what our habits are, what are our habitual fillers, because it gives us the opportunity to be more conscious of what we do without realizing it. So with that, I will defer to Dom to offer an evaluation of my evaluation. So please, Dom, take it away.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Shauna, your evaluation of me tonight was outstanding. I really love that you decided to break away from the 2 to 3 minute format because honestly, for a longer speech, it calls for more of a deep dive into the topic and therefore more feedback. I'm glad you warned us about the reverse sandwich and the duration of the evaluation because it braced us for more suggestions for improvement than one would normally see in an evaluation. Just like I spoke about, you took me at my word, you gave us the heads up on that. And I love that when you made suggestions about the Zoom format, you specified this is for the Zoom format. Add a background and light my face. And then you went on to the speech itself, which they're 2 different things. One is delivery and one is the organization, the layout, the handout, the interaction with people, the speech itself. So often I recommend to people not to evaluate content unless you're speaking about evaluation, missed opportunities for humor, or compliments on things that went well. When you mentioned your grandma's apple pie, I could smell it. Something like that where it's really visceral. because occasionally we don't have a choice about what content we're delivering, especially if it's Toastmasters driven content. But you did such an artful job of 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 evaluating everything I did without actually going into talking about evaluations. So thank you for being so sneaky about that and truly artful. I think your your critical thinking skills are outstanding, and I'm looking forward to hearing an evaluation from you again in the future. Back to you, Shanna.
Thank you so much. We have mutual admiration, I think, of each other. So I appreciate you. And I'll turn it back to our Toastmaster of the evening. Back to you, Barbara.
Great. We're getting towards the ending of our meeting, but before we close out everything, let's hear from William, who is the best table, who gave the best table topic for this evening. Yeah, I love a winner.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I happily announce that our best table topic speaker was Lorna.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
And I would like to say thank you for all those who are present here. And I'm sure that you have something to take away with you so that you can incorporate it in your next speech. I love that T chart that I will be using. As a matter of fact, I did when Shauna was evaluating. I did the T chart there, and I put my right and my left, but I found it very difficult, Dom, to put one word. I have to work on that area, putting just one word. For example, when you talk about honest engagement, how do I use one word instead of more than one? So that's something for me to work on. I will now turn the meeting over to Shauna, and she will hear from our guests. Go take it over, Shauna.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Excellent job conducting the meeting tonight. And thank you all for participating and being involved. And of course, to our legendary Dominic, who offered a great workshop with wonderful information. So we do have a lovely group of guests today, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share any takeaways or any thoughts you had about tonight's meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak about the meeting tonight? Samuel or Luana, Georgetta, Sabrina?
I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of this meeting. It was really nice to see it. The topic master had really great topics. Ours has been super simple, like a question, and it got me thinking even when I was speaking. So I got more of a picture of what that role's like in addition to the evaluator. So, and a good contact. Planning to reach out to Dominique up there, and thank you all for having us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. I'm glad you got even more out of it than just something about evaluations. Samuel?
Yes, I wanted to say I appreciated all the tips for Zoom meetings. This is my first Toastmasters Zoom meeting. Normally I'm from the Confident Speakers Club, and that's always in person. And it's been a really interesting experience just doing this over Zoom and seeing how you guys handle it. I'm really impressed.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you're able to join us again and continue to see how Zoom meetings go. Luana, did you want to share?
Yes, I loved what the speaker said, and she just has such a heart of a teacher because we need those sentence frames. So I wrote down the sentence frame, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, and especially, and then I put a blank space speaker. I get the opportunity to listen to Ed and Tom and Lillian each week, and there's my and they're experienced speakers. And so I get so caught up in their stories and what they're saying that I don't have a lot to say for them to improve. So that was very helpful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Nice. Yes, those sentence frames act as anchors to help anchor your feedback. And Georgetta, did you want to share anything?
I really love that this was my first Zoom meeting as well. I usually just go in person, and I love how you're very effective with the way you organized everything and you moved from one person to another. That was awesome. And the speaker was great too. That was a lot of things. And I'm very grateful that she shared the file with us. That helps a lot with evaluations. Yeah, this is awesome. I might join whenever I get another email. I love that you guys sent out the email. Like if you want to join, you can just click the Zoom. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for feedback. We do have a closing thought from Francisco. Ed, did you want to check on meeting roles before we go to the
Yes,
closing thought?
yes, we can do that now. We do have another special meeting for November 4th. So we don't need a speaker. Now, members, this gives you more time to start thinking of ideas for your speeches that you want to give, because this will be the last special speaker for the year, and members can start giving presentations. But I just want to give you guys a break.
Thank you.
Because I'm thinking of all the members, but now you have to start getting your thinking cap back on what kind of presentation do I want to give at the club to hone and specialize in so I can keep improving on it. But we need another areas filled for the meeting on the 4th. We need a Toastmaster, GE, table topic, grammarian word, all counter. Do I hear any volunteers? I'm writing. I got my pen out.
I'll be happy to be your Toastmaster.
Thank you, Brian. Excellent.
William as grammarian.
Thank you, William. Anybody else?
You need a timer or something, or?
Sure. Timer, Marilyn?
Yeah, sure.
You got it.
I'll do all counter.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
counter? Okay. Barbara, anybody else?
What's left?
I'll do general evaluator.
Jim?
General evaluator.
Okay, you got it.
Good.
You can assign me to anything.
Pardon?
You can assign me to anything.
Okay, then
Whatever role.
I'll surprise you with it.
Yep, surprise me like you do every
Okay.
week.
We're good then.
Before-
We have November 4th filled up, and I'll put the agenda together. I'll probably be sending out a flyer for I'm going to call it a workshop. We're going to learn a lot about youth and vaping, and we'll get educated on that. I think it's very important because I heard it from a parent a couple of weeks ago. She vapes. I heard her tell her child that it's safer than smoking, so it's all right. And I thought, what? So I thought we got to find out how safe vaping is. So we'll call it a workshop for November 4th. So
And
I'll be
that is
sending out a flyer.
our very own guest, Luana, will be leading that workshop.
She's a
So
specialist. She's got
Lots to
training.
learn.
She's got everything. She's fantastic. You'll enjoy it. Invite your friends, especially ones that are vaping. I bet they don't show up because they don't want to hear the truth. So
And
thank you very much for volunteering, folks.
And to our guests, you can use the same link to join every time we have our meeting that you used tonight. So next meeting, November 4th, if you're interested in that topic, if you want to attend a special workshop presentation, feel free to come. I also see that Dom included her contact information if you want to attend the in-person evaluation workshop on October 26th. You can reach out to her with the information that she's included in chat. And with that, I'll turn it over to Francisco with our closing thought of the meeting.
Okay. If you want an agenda for the meetings, please get me your contact information, your email, and I'll send you a personal agenda for the meeting. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Francisco, are you ready?
Of course, I'm ready. I think Toastmasters have taught us to be ready, especially when you get butterflies. Being in this kind of environment with confident speakers has always impressed me, continues to impress me. I find it meaningful of being able to plan my month that to commit myself to being here because I'm so committed to my club. But we had great speakers today. Table topics were great. Lakshana, Georgina, Samuel, and Sabrina. I mean, we would love to have you be part of our club. We have openings, but just the flow of our meeting, and also I love the fact that I don't know who came up with this special workshops, but I love these special workshops because I learned a lot about evaluation today. I looked at the chart and I wanted to give more feedback, so I will be reaching out to Dominic. But overall, great meeting. I look forward to more meetings and paying my dues soon.
Good.
Okay, thank you so much, Francisco. Any other final thoughts? Were you about to say something?
To Ed, I just want to say thank you for the materials. I did hand out some this weekend, but I will try again. There's another special event coming up Saturday that I will be going to, so I can tell them some more about our upcoming workshop on vaping.
Oh, great.
Whoever I hand them out to.
I'll be sending you a flyer on that then, if you can make copies, or if you want me to send you copies. Well,
You could just send it you could email it to me and I can make copies.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. Brian, did you have something to add?
I do. I had the occasion of listening to an audiobook where the presenter, after I looked him up on his website, he has a little paragraph which I posted on the blog. I write about Toastmasters, and it's called This Much Better. If you search that, you'll find it. Or you can just look for Rolly on Toastmasters. However, this author said that to get over his fear of public speaking, he decided to join Toastmasters, and now he is out there in the world inspiring people and helping the world to be a better place. And he would not be as good as he is had he not joined Toastmasters. And I think it's fascinating whenever I find presenters and people who are making a living for themselves in a speaking role, how often they say, so I joined Toastmasters and that helped me get to this level. So if you find those examples, please share them with me. That's what I asked in the last thing that I posted. Whenever you come across an example of someone who's making his way in the world or her wonderful fortune in the world because of Toastmasters, send me a link to that information. I'll make a list of it, and we'll have all this wonderful information to share with other Toastmasters. Why you need to be in Toastmasters if you want to make something of yourself. So there's that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. We had an excellent meeting, and we'll conclude at 7:31. So have a great evening. Hope to see you again, guests.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.